Okay, what's up, YouTube? I'm making another video, about stretching. I don't know, I guess I just want to answer some of, like, the most commonly asked questions and stuff like that, because I get, like, a lot of the same questions. So, I guess I'm just going to answer about the most common ones. One of the most common ones I get is, like, why did you stretch your ears? And I stretched it because I saw these people in Africa, they called them Maasai, and it was really neat. Like, I thought it was just really cool that a person could even do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I saw it on white people first, but I thought it was like a white people thing for real, until I went to Africa, and then that kind of got me to research it a little bit more, and then I felt like, culturally, I'm kind of entitled to be able to do this, so why not do it? So I just did, and it's like a status symbol type thing over there, so I use it as like a status symbol, so like every major accomplishment in life, I try to go up one more size. Yeah, sometimes I just go up a size just for the hell of it too, though, so let's not act like I'm doing this, you know, super perfect all the time. Like, sometimes, like, people ask me, like, how do people react to you and stuff, like, with jobs and things. Getting a job when they were smaller I wasn't really concerned about it. But now that they're much bigger, I say after, like, a 00, I started to have to look for jobs that were specifically, like, tattoo and piercing friendly. Or jobs that didn't have, like, a really strict policy against it. Sometimes I had to take them out and just, like, not having earrings in. Some jobs are like, no way at all, period. And some jobs are like, hell yeah, or it doesn't matter. So, as far as like people's reaction in general goes, I get a lot of stares. Like, the bigger they get, the more stares I seem to attract. Like, so if you're gonna do this, you should totally be aware that people are gonna look at you like a circus animal, or like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And I get a lot of like people staring and like whispering and shit. I've had a couple people like invade my personal space, and that, like, I'm not worried about people staring at me and shit because I know what they're looking at. Or like when I walk up to a counter or talk to someone for the first time, I see their eyeballs go to my earrings and then come back to my face. I see that a lot. That doesn't bother me. Or it doesn't bother me if people just stare at me from afar, but it does kind of bother me when people invade my personal space, which has happened a number of times. I'll be standing at a bus stop, or most recently, I was standing in line, and I'm just standing there minding my own business, and the guy behind me got like this close to me, to the side of my face. Like, he came in from the, like, kind of stood like right here in like my blind spot, and came in like right here to my face. And it's like I felt his presence, so I turned around and I'm looking like, what the fuck? And he just like, la 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 la. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Trying to smell my fucking ear? Like, are you serious? Like, that's really not okay to invade somebody's personal space. If you're gonna invade my personal space, the least you could do is speak. You know what I'm saying? Or like, another thing that really annoys me is people will stare at me like this, like, and like, I will look at them and watch them stare at me for like 30 seconds, and they will not fucking acknowledge that I am looking at them. That gets on my nerves. That really, really gets on my nerves. Like, I am a freaking person, and I understand that maybe there is a feature on me that you have not seen very often, you don't know anything about, or you might be curious about, or in awe, or whatever the problem is, but you still need to realize that there is a human being attached to these earlobes. Respect me as a person. So sometimes people don't do that. That's annoying. But in general, I get like, I don't really get like a whole lot of people that be like, oh my god, you know, that's awful, like, ugh, or nothing. You know, I get people, most people's reaction is to start asking questions and be like, whoa, that's awesome, or something like that. So like, I'll say like 90% of the time, it's a positive reaction. People be asking me this really weird, freaking question, like, am I a white boy? I am not white, and I am not a boy, so no, I am not a white boy. I'm Avery. I don't even know sometimes how to answer that question a lot of times, because they'd be like, man, that's part of your fucking white boy swag, and I'm like, Okay. It's kind of weird because now that I know the history of it, like if you don't know the history of stretching your ears and you got your ears stretched, or if you're thinking about doing it, I really, really, really think it'd be worthwhile for you to look that up so you can see what you're doing, you know? Because it's just like how some gangs wear their hat facing a certain direction or something. And I know, like in LA, if you're ignorant enough to turn your hat to a certain side and not know what it means, it's probably going to get you into trouble. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it seems to me to be foolish to make yourself a part of a group and not know what that stands for. You know what I'm saying? Just don't do it. Let's see. Somebody wanted me to talk about like the black community. The black community, for the most part, is like, I wish I could do that. I get a lot of black people being like, man, I wish I could do that. And it's like, you can. Like, why could you not do it? Like, we all got earlobe skin. Go for it. Or like, I don't know, people, or a lot of black people think it's like a white boy thing, and it's not. It's really, really not. Like, I wish people knew more about this. I feel like if people knew more about the history and the culture behind it, more people would probably be doing it. A lot of people ask me, does it hurt? Yes, it hurts. Every single time you make it bigger, it hurts. There are people out there that be like, if you're doing it right, it doesn't hurt. And I will say this ear right here was relaxed a whole lot more because I had like some scar, like I had my ears pierced twice and had some scar tissue right here. So this one was harder to stretch. But this one right here, I'd stayed at the same size for like a really long time, and you know, I've been wearing like heavy earrings for a while because I only wear like stone and shit like that for the most part. So it kind of naturally stretches on its own, and it had naturally stretched because I noticed I could get two of my fingers like this inside the hole, and I couldn't do that before. So I decided that, you know, maybe I should go ahead and go up so I don't lose any of my earrings. So that's what I started to do, and I put it in there, and it didn't hurt. Like, I could say it was a little snug. It was like a little bit uncomfortable, it was like a noticeable pressure, and it was slightly uncomfortable for, you know, about like 10 minutes. But then after that, everything relaxed and it wasn't painful at all. On this side was a whole different story. It did not go well on that side. So it was painful on that side and painless on this side. So it's possible for it to not hurt. So sometimes people tell you it doesn't hurt. Maybe they're doing it right. I choose not to do mine the prescribed, mostly recommended way, because I don't feel like, honestly, kind of don't feel like some of that shit's necessary. Because people have been doing this, you know, for hundreds of thousands of years, and in some places they haven't changed the way they've been doing it for as long as they've been doing it, and it's not a problem. So I'm not going to take all these extra precautions for no reason. Basically, I don't see the point. Some people would argue with me and say what I just said was completely wrong, and they should never, ever, 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 ever listen to me for advice. But the honest truth is, I know what is the most recommended thing to do, and I know what I choose to do. I take that information as far as the most recommended thing, and I apply it in the way that I see fit, which is my right, because these are my ears. So if you don't like what I'm saying, then screw you. What size? Right now, I'm at 7/8 and a quarter, precisely, because I've got the tape on here. So each layer of tape is a quarter of an inch. Is a quarter of a millimeter. So that's what size I'm at. And one thing I want to talk about that nobody really brought this up as a question, but one thing I do want to talk about is people be asking me what size are my gauges, like really frequently. And if you look up the definition of gauge, it's a term for size. So basically, when you ask somebody what size are your gauges, you're asking what size are your sizes. A gauge is a size. It's a measurement. What size is your measurement? They're earrings. These things, people call these the actual stone piece inside of the hole a gauge. And it is an earring. Just like that tiny little diamond with a stick on the end of it is an earring, or that little hook with a dangly hoop on it is an earring. It's an earring. It's a ring that goes in my ear. Or it could be called, I mean, that's like a general term, is an earring. Because, like, them little sticks with the thing on, it's called an earring. And the only thing I described that was actually an earring was, like, the hoop. So, they can be called plugs. These are plugs. The solid ones that have no hole in it is a plug. The ones that are hollow can be called tunnels or flesh tunnels. And the spiky looking things are tapers. They're not really meant to be worn as jewelry, but some people do it anyway. And then you've got the little shit that hangs, which are mostly like basically like weights, or they could just be referred to as earrings if they're not specifically meant to be heavy for the purpose of helping you stretch your ears. So, yeah. Stop asking me what size are my measurements, because it makes me laugh at you every time you ask me that. I laugh at people because it's strictly just not knowing the definition of gauge. It's kind of what I'll classify that under ignorance, because ignorance is lack of knowledge. So it's ignorance, and I laugh at people's ignorance. Yes, I do. Fault me for it, whatever. But I'm also going to correct you. And if you catch an attitude with me because I correct you, then you're just mad because you're stupid, in my opinion. But yeah, so that's pretty much most of the main questions that I get. Sometimes people ask me how long I've been doing this. I've been doing it for 7 years. This is my 7th year, off and on. I've been doing it. Yeah, it takes a while. It's something that's not, you can't get to this size in a couple months. If you do, then in the long term, you're going to have some major problems. Had to learn that the hard way. Had to slow down for a while. But that's mostly what everybody asked me. I think it was like 10 questions. So, thanks for watching.